it's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast, and this is your weekly card pull for the week of February 9th. We are sitting here in the nest of a new moon, a very powerful, beautiful new moon. I hope that you are creating some space and ritual and even just quiet to listen, to hear what needs to be said, to hear what wants to be downloaded. So much beautiful intuition, so much opening in every moment in this month ahead. I hope you can take advantage of it, especially on this beautiful, potent new moon. The card I pulled for us for the week ahead is the Three of Cups. And Three of Cups is, I think it's actually my life lesson. You think I would know these things off the top of my head? I think that's what it is. And the Three of Cups is a beautiful energy. It's the perfection of the cup suit. So it is perfection around water, around emotional body. It is fulfillment. It is true satisfaction. The Three of Cups elevates our relationships to something that happens beyond the one-on-one, to a community, to a group, to an IU or a coven or a kinship. There's something about the Three of Cups that takes us beyond the one-on-one exchange of the Two of Cups and elevates it to a broader perspective of what we're here to do, what love means, what does it mean to give and receive, what does it mean to celebrate each other, what does it mean to hold each other as embodied sacred beings on this earth in this moment, what does it mean to share that witnessing of each other. I was working with someone last week and this question came up of witnessing each other as sacred beings. It is such an interesting thing to consider in this February month. It's such an interesting thing to consider when we think about opening, broadening into the current moment, when we think about our horizontal growth, our horizontal perception, our horizontal awareness. Because we can see each other as sacred beings, but we're also seeing each other as projections. We're also seeing each other in a form of objectification, meaning it's hard for us to understand each other's subjectivity. And obviously empathy, compassion are part of that, but even that's something you can ever deepen into, ever gain sight around, gain wisdom around. Yeah, that's a whole other, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but it's an interesting thing to think about how we witness each other. How able are you to both stay with yourself, not abandon yourself, and witness and hold space for the self of another? Interesting spiritual practice, interesting question, interesting thing to meditate on. The Three of Cups always brings a feeling of harvest, of celebration, of community. Card of dancing, it's a card of enjoying each other, it's a card of life. Always, it's so interesting because it came up in the monthly tarot scopes for Aquarius, and it is a card that needs to be, you just need to kind of have a perception or a perspective or awareness around overindulgence when a Three of Cups comes up. So Three of Cups and Nine of Cups have all this beautiful life force energy, and they also have this ability to tip over into hedonism in a way that doesn't serve you, or tip over into overindulgence, or tip over into celebrating and enjoying the moment in a way that actually depletes future moments or harms future moments. So celebrating in a way that might feel really good in the moment, but leaves you with a kind of hangover. And I don't just mean that from an alcohol perspective. Any celebration, any activity you do where it feels good in the moment, but when it's over, it leaves you with a kind of depletion. And it's like the most general way I can say that, but kind of notice that this week. Notice the places where that might be coming up for you. More broadly, it feels like community. And one of the big questions we're going to be dealing with in this next huge Pluto transit, that Pluto moving into Aquarius that so many people are talking about right now, and really sets the stage for the next, I think, 20 years. Not something any of us have ever experienced in our lifetime. And one of the big questions will be getting to the underbelly of community, getting to really feel into the shadow around our relationships, around our covens, our groups, who we hang with, who we work with, who we thrive with, or who we allow to bring us to that place of hangover like I was talking about before. So the Aquarius message for February really had to do with zooming out, with regarding your community, regarding your friendships, regarding your groups with a type of wisdom, with a type of perspective and awareness, kind of zooming out and being like, okay, what is happening with my group dynamics? And I don't know if any of you felt that, but when that transition, when Pluto went into Aquarius, I think I have Aquarius in my 10th house or 11th house. I felt a lot of stuff come up around friendship, a lot of stuff come up around awareness of both the beauty that friendship has brought to my life and the heartbreak that friendship has brought to my life. And I was speaking with a friend of mine, and I was like, I feel like I'm excavating kind of the pipes of my friendships, like the plumbing of my friendships, clearing out the tubes so that my connections can feel more nurturing, more nourishing. And I think that that is something that I was experiencing, but I also imagine it's something that we're experiencing on a broader level. Like, as I sit and say this, I wonder how much of that was my own process and how much of that was a process I'm feeling into more widely. You know, that Aquarius Pluto is going to hit all of us in different ways, but that core question around technology and community, it will be up for review. The Three of Cups is the card of friendship, truly. It's the card of elevated understanding, camaraderie, and I would say to you, it's something for you to think about this week. I feel that there's invitations into new groups, new avenues, new places you might be showing up, new comrades that are showing up in the world for you. That feels really blessed. The Three of Cups energy around that feels like you're right, exactly where you're meant to be. You're in the right place. That's beautiful. And I just think there's something about this Three of Cups that's a little bit philosophical. So the literal meaning of the Three of Cups could be like, I'm going to a wedding, I'm going to a party, I'm going to celebrate, I'm going to live my life, I'm going to, have a reunion with friends. But there's something about this Three of Cups. Maybe it's colored from what came up in the Aquarius tarot scope, but it does feel like it has a little bit of this philosophical bend, like, who do I spend my time with, and how do I feel when those interactions are happening, and how do I feel when they're complete, and do I leave those interactions inspired and lit up and confident and feeling brave? Do I leave those relationships feeling depleted in some way? Who do I allow into my space? And not just from a romantic standpoint and not from a family standpoint, but from a community and a friendship standpoint. I know I keep repeating that word, but it's a good word because community gives us broad range. It's our work community, it's our friendships, it's our social engagements. Just kind of having awareness and a little bit of a philosophical bend to, what is happening in my world of friendships? What is happening in my communities? What communities am I part of? What does that add to my life? What does that ask of me? How am I in devotion to those things in a way that lights me up? And how am I in devotion to those things in a way that doesn't feel quite right? The question of nostalgia comes up. We sometimes are part of groups, parts of communities, just because we're used to being parts of those groups and communities. It doesn't necessarily mean that they light us up. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of our forward movement. And at the same time, we can find ourselves in completely different places and have friendships and communities that ride right with us, even though they have no idea. I mean, I think about my two best friends from college. They could be less interested in tarot and numerology. They support me, they support my work, they cheer me on. But I mean, they're not interested in this at all. But no matter where I go in my life, they're with me they're kind of tracking with me. They add so much to my life, even though they're not maybe part of the communities I'm spending my day-to-day time in. I just say all that to give you points of entry into thinking about and noticing this week who you spend your time with and how it makes you feel. I know there's research around this in terms of you are the 5 closest people in your life. You are the people you spend the most time with. What does that say? When you look around the people you spend time with, how are they living? How are they treating their bodies? How do they treat themselves? How do they self-talk? What turns them on? What inspires them? Where are they passionate? How do they treat you? Just noticing those interactions, and just it. I mean, really, it's as simple as that. It's not anything that needs to be changed. It's just kind of an awareness of my relationships beyond romantic and family and even work matter. Am I hungry for more of that? Am I overburdened by that? Is that feeding me or is that depleting me? Just kind of questions. Do those feel alive? We talked a lot about that maybe in the fall of last year on this podcast, this idea of what is alive. There are things in your life that have a vibrancy to them. You can feel a momentum and a growth happening around them. They have their own energy. Notice how that applies to your friends this week, to your communities this week, to your units this week. There's something about enjoying that energy, enjoying that experience, opening your eyes to new communities you're going to become a part of. That feels very rich this week. I know personally I'm starting a group project that with people I've never worked with, I know nothing about. That's going to be really interesting. I feel really lucky that Three of Cups is coming up in this week because it blesses that union, it blesses that conversation, and I'm excited. It makes me even more excited than I already was. What's that like for you? Is it showing up because you're invited to a thing in a Three of Cups a week say yes to the invitation. Say yes to the invitations that feel right. Again, layering underneath that, this high priestess energy where your intuition is guiding and you might not know why something works for you. You might not know why something doesn't work for you. You can just feel the truth of it. You trust your instincts and your intuition in the present moment to show you where you need to go next. In a Three of Cups week, say yes to the invitations if they feel good or curious. Even if you feel a little afraid or nervous, try. There's something about the Three of Cups that welcomes you with open arms into the group. And whatever is happening for you in your relationships and your friendships, this is a beautiful week just to kind of, interesting. And the Aquarius in Pluto is really Pluto in Aquarius is really going to clean out the pipes around our communities. That's so beautiful. I mean, not to get overly dramatic, but we all talk about the last time Pluto went into Aquarius, there was the time of the revolution. Okay, so we don't really want to go for a revolution. Maybe we do. I don't know. But what we do want is that feeling of we are willing to fight for something. We're willing to create something together. We're willing to put our energy into a better world, into imagining and then fighting for the things that matter to us. So I love this idea of our communities, our friendships getting reinvigorated, getting clarified, reinvigorated, and becoming a beautiful, healthy part of our life. You also think post-COVID, a lot of us, that shifted. The way we related before COVID is not the way we relate now. And I'm curious about this Aquarius transit, this Pluto transit, but I'm also curious about the Three of Cups for us this week. What's it trying to tell us? What's it doing? What's happening? I'm excited for you guys. Three of Cups is always a celebration. If you don't have plans to spend time with people you love, maybe make them. If you have an invitation that you're hesitating on or you feel a little nervous to accept, say yes. And in any case, know that there's openings and opportunities around friendships that celebrate you for you as you live now, and that's a good thing. Three of Cups, cheers. Yeah, it's my life lesson, I think. Do you hear me? I don't know what that means. This is what I do. I don't do it very well for myself. Hence the podcast. I love you all. So much love and big hugs. Cheers to you. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for being part of what inspires me and lights me up and keeps me going. I'm so grateful. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.